Hi, I'm Abbie. I'm the museum director here at the Shriver House Museum. I wanted to show you the family parlor here inside the home. Now, the house was built in 1860, and honestly, this would have been one of the first rooms that your friends and family would have gotten to see. You know, if you wanted to have a housewarming party or you wanted to welcome everybody here, this is where you'd bring everyone. It's the room you took special care to save for guests. So you're going to decorate it. You're going to put a little bit more money into some of the furnishings. You're going to keep things clean and looking nice. And then if you happen to have children, like Miss Hetty had 2 daughters, Sadie, who was 5, Molly, who was 3, you would probably encourage them to either stay out of this room and keep their toys out of this room, or perhaps you'd keep them busy practicing on their melodeon over in the corner. That's going to be just behind me here, because parlor music was a big deal to this generation. They're going to be learning how to play instruments like pianos, melodeons, harpsichords, that kind of thing. And it will fill the ears of your guests coming to visit. Now, I'm not suggesting that a 5- and 3-year-old Sadie and Molly might have it down, know how to be able to play this melodeon right away. But what I am saying is that this is the perfect space if you are visiting friends and family to come, maybe hear some music, laugh with your friends. This is the perfect entertaining guest room. This is one of the rooms that was honestly the most versatile for the Shriver family. It's a spare room. George has an office space, and George Shriver here, the head of the household, is going to be opening a saloon and a bowling alley when he builds the home. His intent was to have a business starting in 1861. We all know that the Civil War breaks out in 1861. That kind of complicates some of George's plans. But there is a secretary desk here to represent his business of what he always dreamed of having. This is one of the newer pieces in the home. It was donated to us in 2023. But I also think that this would be a great room that Hetty could utilize for herself. There's no closets in the home. They didn't use closets back then, but there's going to be lots of sewing going on in this room. It's also a perfect place to set up her quilting frame, which, as you can see, takes up a little bit of room. But if you get a couple ladies up here working on it together, maybe one on each side, you can work on the quilt together. A lot of the ladies' social circles ended up around these sewing corners, the quilting bees. That's where you talked about people, talked about other men. It's always what happened. Men socialized with the men, the ladies tended to socialize with the ladies, especially around these sewing circles. And here we have represented a quilt that they might have been working on, maybe to donate to the soldiers and to donate as part of some of these commissions, like the sanitary commission. Or perhaps this was a quilt that was going to go back to the Shriver home. Regardless, these were made, took one stitch at a time, mostly handmade. So it's a really cool piece here in what was either George's office or what I like to call Hetty's she shed. Garret is an old-fashioned term. It's not something we're really used to using today. The Shrivers would have used their garret, or attic as we call it, to use for storage. This is going to be one of those places you don't come up to if you don't have to. It's going to be hot, it's going to be cold in the winter, you store your items up here and you forget about them. But this is one of the coolest rooms in the house. Let me tell you why. During the battle, the Shrivers had evacuated their home. George Shriver was a Union soldier, miles away. Hetty had left for safety. Her neighbor, James Pierce, y'all might know the Tilly Pierce house. It's the same building. He's going to climb up into his garret or attic, look out the high windows, and Mr. Pierce will actually watch as this room fills with Confederate sharpshooters. What they do is they knock out 2 holes in the side of the attic wall. We call them portholes today. You can see them, they're on either side of me here. They're only big enough to be able to place guns out and start taking shots at the Union half a mile away. Well, it was roughly a half mile. I use that for easy terms, but you can quote me on mileage later. But what's going to happen is the Union Army is going to shoot back, and they're going to kill 2 Confederate soldiers inside this room. There's 2 pieces of evidence. Under the floorboards, 6 bullets that were dropped by Confederates. And also, in 2006, we had forensic testing done. And you can literally take luminol or a luminol-like substance, and the detectives found that there was blood under both of these holes. So it's very neat that we have not only historic records, but scientific proof that there were Confederates fighting and dying for their lives right on these floorboards, right inside the Shrivers family home. I have visitors that look at me like, why are we going up to the attic? Why is this important to the story? And I really think this is so important to tell because this is what happened to the Shriver family during the battle right inside their home. All of our tours conclude here in Shriver Saloon. I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. Now, George's plan is going to be to build the home in 1860, opened in 1861, a saloon and a bowling alley. Now the bowling alley was torn down. It was torn down in closer to 1900, 1905. But the saloon we have rebuilt here to represent his businesses. So all the items here you see are from the era. The bar is from 1840. So it's really showing you what Shriver's Saloon might have looked like at the time. And for George Shriver, his plan was to go into the liquor business. He was raised in this knowledge of the liquor business because his family farm had 2 whiskey stills on it. This farm dating back to 1790. So it's kind of a cool reminder of a really unique business plan that George might have had. There weren't too many saloons in Gettysburg in the 1860s, so it's definitely a unique idea.